California Endowment, AQMD, MWD, and more. You'll also be hearing more about a couple of national town halls broadcasting live from Los Angeles, to which you will be invited. And we'll be rolling out a robust social media campaign on all our platforms, as well as an outdoor media campaign, all designed to educate, enlighten, and empower you in our fight for climate justice.
We want cleaner air.
Caring about the community means caring about the climate. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe that we really can change the world if we care enough. 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 If we care enough.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. This show is called First Things First, and my first thing, always giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and getting it started. Let's go, let's go. It seems to be a busy day around here, an extra busy day. It's a Talking Point Tuesday. For those new to this space, here's what we do. Hour one, we usually look local. Hour two, national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today, it is, well, I told you, it's election season, so topsy-turvy. Maybe I shouldn't even tell you what the norm is, because everything's going to be kind of like put in the blender, and it's about to be First Things First, KBLA Talk 1580 smoothie. We have some candidates for you to meet today. We are going to be hearing from Mark Carter out of Chicago. He's leading this anti-immigrant, but also pro-black kind of movement there. Be interesting to unpack that. One of my Republican colleagues for a Talking Point Tuesday kind of vibe. And then we'll be hearing from candidates. You're invited in every hour, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580, and at least one surprise that I have in store for you, which I'm not going to tell you because I feel like every time I do that, I jinx it, and then I look like I am lying to you, and I don't want to do that. Why was I laughing? Because who comes out the house with wet hair in the middle of a storm? But you know what? That sometimes, that storm be making the hair get a life of its own and do all kinds of wild things. Anyway, happy Tuesday. I'm excited because we got a lot of good information for you. We talked about the KBLA Talk 1580 survey yesterday, and we'll be delving a little bit more into that as the days go by. I love, love, love that yes, you, me, Tavis Smiley, and your KBLA delegation is really stepping up and starting to find ways to be heard, find ways for your voices, our voices to be heard on this radio station and beyond. So it's exciting, and especially when it comes to weighing in on some of these races, because, man, we got some important things before us, not the least of which is the district attorney's race, which is well covered. If you haven't seen that data, go to KBLA1580.com and you can hear all about it. Okay, so what's going on right now, though, Dominique? Well, it's an exciting week. It's not just, it's not all politics. Some of it is about the arts. It's always the arts. We are here in Los Angeles. We broadcast from Los Angeles, California, Leimert Park, Africa Town, USA. And right up the street is an amazing thing known as the Pan-African Film and Arts Festival. I want to say it right because I feel like I sometimes forget to give love to the arts piece of it. And it's a really important piece of it. Art, fine art, crafts, shopping. It's a whole vibe. If you haven't been there, I suggest you go. It's coming up. And joining me this morning is the executive director of that festival. He's an international cultural, political, and legal consultant specializing in Pan-African affairs. He's been the executive director of PAF since it started back in 1992. He served on the California Film Commission for a time. He's a permanent member of the jury for the annual Africa Movie Academy Awards, which is in Lagos. I got to go to that one year. That sounds so fun. He's had a stack of honors, including the California Legislative Black Caucus honoring for him for his work as co-founder and executive director. Okay, that's what happens when I don't put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Anyway, he's joining. He's going to be joining us right now. I'm not sure what's going on with all these phone calls this morning. Maybe it's the rain and the confusion, but we're going to find out what's new at the Pan-African Film Festival. And it's a lot. There's a lot of great things going on this year. There's always more than just film screenings. There are all kinds of panel discussions where you could find out, how to get into the industry. There is opportunities to meet filmmakers because they have panel discussions after the film. There is an amazing amount of opportunity to get kind of a foot into the industry and also see films that before they come out. Okay, we're having some kind of confusion here. I'm not sure what's happening with these phone lines. Maybe it's a rain cross up, but we are going to get it straightened out, and we will have Director Babu on the air shortly. It's been a wild time, and a lot of people that I know are without power. A lot of people dealing with mudslides, and just I know people on the East Coast like to make fun of us because we're punks when it comes to the rain, but this is not that, right? This is pretty serious. A lot of people over here in what we like to call the Black Beverly Hills and surrounding areas dealing with mudslides, homes being ruined or greatly damaged. Obviously, it's not just in historically black areas. There's a lot of flooding going on in the valley and throughout LA. This, what they call life-threatening atmospheric river. And people laugh and say, yeah, it's just rain. And I get that. But this is a lot of rain all at once. A lot of people's roofs springing leaks. One friend of mine has mud in almost every room in her house because it just slid down the hill and came in the door. Even my house sprung a leak. And we had to cover it up with tarps and things because you can't exactly fix your roof in the middle of a storm like this. And today is another heavy rain day. Now, what I'm reading is that this is going to continue off and on throughout the week, but much lighter. That today, as far as we know, is the brunt of it. And we'll see more rain through Wednesday. We're going to continue to see intermittent rain, but through Wednesday, it's a little heavier, and today is supposed to be the brunt of it. So if you can find a way to not travel, then I would suggest that. A state of emergency has been declared in the state, and a local emergency declaration here in LA, the city of LA, by Mayor Karen Bass. And it's all, they're talking about all the different factors that create this sort of a wild storm that we've been having with El Nino and the climate emergency. They got all these names which make it sound dumb, right? Bomb cyclone, atmospheric river, storm watch. But the fact is, it's pretty intense. And if you can postpone whatever it is you had to do until Thursday, or if you can do it from home, today is another day to do that. Believe it or not, with all the flooding and stuff, we actually so far have handled this better than than last year when we got hit with the super, super heavy 4.1 inches of rain just Sunday alone. That is more than an inch and a half past any previous record. It's serious business. Some parts of the county saw 10 inches. But it seems like the work that was done last year on the drainage systems has definitely helped. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of damage. There's freeways closed. There's all kinds of, flooding. People's vehicles washed away or totally flooded out. But the flooding of streets and freeways is... Right now I'm reading this data, but I'm also seeing it with my own eyes. It's not anywhere near what we dealt with last year when we got hit with this intensity of storm, where actually even driving to work in Leimert Park, some of the roads were just rivers. And it's supposed to be, 2-3 inches of rain that can take your car out, right, Miles? Yeah, he says, yeah. So you're not meant to drive in those, so, you got to go to the high ground, all that stuff. Well, it's even getting to work today was a lot better than it has been through a lot of the heavy storms last year. So what I'm being told is that the work that's been done is making a difference, even though, LA Fire Department responding to 130 incidents where people are just flooded out, and almost 50 mud and debris flows, structural fires, water rescues. It's just a lot. 800-920-1580 is the number if you want to weigh in today. We're going to be talking Pan-African Film Festival. When we come forward, you know where you are. Please stay safe, stay dry. If you need help, call 311 or 211. Those are the non-emergency lines that can give you information to find the kind of help that you need. Please don't laugh it off, because it's just not worth it. This storm right here, I don't care how much they're laughing at us. It is no joke. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and you're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do Black history every single day. In fact, as the only Black talk radio station west of the Mississippi, we are Black history. Our annual Black History Month luncheon is fast approaching, and we want to be sure to give you ample time to get your company, organization, church, or group to join us at this year's celebration on the last day of the month, Thursday, February 29th at noon. Last year, we honored iconic local Black media personalities, including Pat Harvey, Jim Hill, Mark Brown, Beverly White, Sandy Banks, and Pat Prescott, and raised $20,000 in scholarships. This year, we're honoring Black Hollywood creatives who have used their artistic genius as climate justice champions. At this year's luncheon, we will be showcasing and sharing their inspiring work on our big screen. Plus, a scrumptious meal, live music, great company, and lots of fun with your favorite KBLA Talk 1580 hosts. So contact us today at info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. That's info@smileyAudiomedia.com or call 323-290-4690. We hope to see you Thursday, February 29th as we close out Black History Month. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Don't settle for bumps, ingrowns, and itch due to dry skin. Try Venus for pubic hair and skin, the razor and regimen specifically designed for your pubic area. Featuring a razor with patented irritation defense bar and skincare regimen that is dermatologist and gynecologist tested. Venus helps protect your pubic skin from shave irritation. Discover the full regimen of products at GilletteVenus.com.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure that you'll get your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
And Jackson Hewitt also guarantees the accuracy of your return for life.
Hewitt!
So don't just sit there. For your biggest refund guaranteed, walk into a Jackson Hewitt today and dance out Jackson Hewitt!
We've got a lot to talk about.
I'm Reverend Gerald, the life coach. Is someone you love struggling with addiction and mental illness? Is improving your family's health important? Want to leave a legacy that your family can grow? Are you ready to enhance your perception of life experiences? Then wake up weekends at 7 a.m. with Urban Family Focus and get the wisdom, opportunity, resources, and motivation to live your best life. Join the conversation on Urban Family Focus Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
It's time to represent your community in the 2024 presidential primary election. When you vote, you get to decide what is best for you, your neighborhood, and your family. Use your power. Make a plan to vote today. Visit plan.lavote.gov. That's plan.lavote.gov to get everything you need to vote in the March 5th presidential primary election. Brought to you by the Los Angeles County Registrar.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, it's the Pan African Film Festival around here. Then it's not. We're struggling through a rainy day, technical difficulties, but we have it together now, and I'm really excited to welcome on the air this morning. I already did his credentials and such. Ayuko Babu, the one of the founders and the executive director of the Pan African Film Festival. Welcome, Babu.
Good morning.
We did it. Woohoo!
Happy to be here. Absolutely. Can you hear me?
I hear you loud and clear. You sound great. And your friend is on the other line, actor, director, filmmaker, and he is actually closing out the film festival this year. He's got so many, kind of like you, Babu, so many credits that we could spend all day reading a bio, but I want to welcome Melvin Van Peebles. Good morning. And Mario, I'm tripping. Mario Van Peebles. Okay.
Hey, but I'll take either one of those. Man.
Yeah, you know what?
I represent Pop.
Yeah, I try to do the same for my pops. But
no doubt. Pop is tough, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's cool. It's interesting when you have a legacy that continues and the quality and what the work does continues. So then it's all good. I tell you a quick story. I was with my dad in New York, and this brother came up to us. He had long silver dreads, and he said, "Mr. Van Peebles, I love your work." And so both me and Mario and my dad Melvin turned around, and so we both were like, and he said, "No, I'm talking to both of you." He said, "Listen, let me tell you." He said, "I'm a fan. I'm not a groupie. Sometimes I go to the movies, and I'm entertained." He said, "And then sometimes I go to the movies and I learn something." And then he said, "And sometimes, rarely, I go to the movies and I come out proud to be a person of color. And with your two movies, I get all three." And I was like, "Well, that's it. So you could call me what you wanted."
Yeah, Mr. Van Peebles. Maybe I should stick to that, like that dude did. But is that ever pressure though? I remember a period of time where I never wanted to write anything because I thought it would be compared to my dad, and everyone would say, "Ah, she's super whack."
Right. You know, I came at it a different way, I suppose. See, I think this one thing about the new West. I have a new Western called Outlaw Posse.
Yes.
And I kind of wrote it with thinking of the Johnny Cash song "A Boy Named Sue," where the boy really didn't really consciously like his father until later in life. Right? So my dad was such a hard ass that he made it easy to he said you may not always like me, but if I'm right 80% of the time, you better learn this shit.
Wow.
So I had, I called him my paternal fascist. But by the time, Mark Twain had a quote where he said, all my life my father was an idiot, and at 21 he was a genius, meaning that by the time I understood and tried to walk in those shoes and do some of those things, everything he had taught me to do made sense, and I was well equipped to do what I do and do what I love for a living now. So, of course, as time went on, I had more and more respect and admiration. But sometimes growing up, I didn't understand all the battles. I had a sort of an understanding of the war. So yes, later on I did. But by then it was too late. I knew stuff. I'd already been in the room. I'd grown up doing it. I'd been carrying cables and working for free and doing all that stuff long enough that I had a good idea of what my voice would be.
Yeah.
So,
well, congrats on the closing night screening, Outlaw Posse. Ayuko Babu, you've got it's your usual MO, but you've got quite a lineup of films this year. And talk to me about this one. Talk to me about the closing night screening and why we should all be running out to see it.
Well, obviously the closing night screening is Outlaw Posse, Brother Mario's film. It's a fabulous adventure. It's sprawling. It's the cowboy shoot 'em up, and with a lot of information. And you walk away with a whole bunch of understanding of all of the different energies you got when you grew up looking at cowboy films, as well as films about America. It's a fabulous film. Don't miss it. Not only is it the closing night, we're going to do it a couple of times. So be sure and go on our website, which is www.paff.org. I'll repeat that again, www.paff.org, and scroll to the closing night film. You'll see the description. You'll see the times. Everything will be right there, as well as the rest of the film. We also have an incredible centerpiece, a sprawling love story, adventure story, a political story from Ethiopia, the great land of Punt. It's called For the Love of the Mother Country. It's a story of love caught between during the revolution times in Ethiopia, and it's unbelievable. Starring some of the greatest Ethiopian actors, they're all coming in for that. That's the centerpiece called For the Love of the Mother Country, and that's going to be shown several different times. Again, go on the website, paff.org, and scroll down to For the Love of the Mother Country, and you'll see the time. Don't miss it. And all the stars will be here from Ethiopia. Ethiopia's had a long history of making films, long history of producing films, long history of having movie theaters. So they have a big, huge group of people who do films. He was here a few years ago to show me Gabriel, the director, and he did Triangle Coming to America about immigration, if you remember that film. So come out and see that.
Well, and that's one of the fun things about the Pan-African Film Festival. You meet people. You really meet people from all over the world. You meet filmmakers, fine artists, and craftspersons, and that's part of what makes it fun. Mario Van Peebles, you were one of the early filmmakers on black filmmakers on the Western side. I mean, Posse was, back then we didn't even get Westerns. We had so few options compared to today in terms of content. And that was a huge hit, and it was a groundbreaking film for you. What made you say, you know what, I'm going to revisit? It's not fair for me to ask you this question because we have only a minute until news, traffic, and sports, but we can continue it on the other side. What made you say, I'm going to revisit this genre?
Well, I people kept asking me to do another Western. When I did Posse, I got to do it with my father, Melvin, and I didn't have kids back then. And now, this time around, my dad's no longer with us, but I get to do it with my son. And part of what I wanted to show was, it's a line that Whoopi Goldberg plays Stagecoach Mary in this movie in Outlaw Posse. And she says something to my son when we get up on the stagecoach. He says, you're lucky. And he says, why? And she says, you're the first generation of black boys that can have a black father. Back in 1863, until the Emancipation Proclamation, you couldn't legally be a black father because the white slave owner made all the decisions for the children. They kept the mother to nurse the product, but they'd often get rid of the dad. You couldn't be a black father. So you're the first generation. So we just had, until then, we didn't even have a father game. You know what I mean? So I thought interesting cinema that historically we couldn't be black fathers, and yet here you have a legit on-screen black father, black son, black father, black son. So
wow. Yeah. Looking forward to that. We're talking with Ayuko Babu, a director of the Pan-African Film Festival, and Mario Van Peebles. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Federal authorities are investigating if a group of migrants arrested in Phoenix, Arizona are part of a group that attacked 2 NYPD officers. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents picked up the 4 men Monday at a Greyhound bus station in Phoenix. They are suspected of giving fake names to a church group that organizes bus rides for migrants out of New York City. The father of Kansas City Chiefs star Patrick Mahomes is allowed to travel to the Super Bowl despite a weekend drunk driving arrest in Texas. The judge in Smith County did not impose a travel ban on Mahomes, but he is banned from drinking alcohol. Mahomes Sr., who is African-American, was pulled over by police in the town of Tyler and taken into custody on charges of driving while drunk. He's free on a $10,000 bond. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Did you know Discover wants everyone to feel special? That's why with your Discover card, you have access to 24/7 customer service, as well as $0 fraud liability, which means you're never held responsible for unauthorized purchases. Learn more at discover.com/credit card. Limitations apply.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
Both of LA's NBA teams ended long road trips with impressive wins last night. The Lakers got a strong triple-double from Anthony Davis to help finish a 4-2 trip. AD had 26 points, 15 rebounds, and 11 assists. LeBron also had 26 points and 7 assists. D'Angelo Russell led the Lakers with 28. The Lakers are home Thursday night against Denver. There's a ton of sparkling numbers for the Clippers. They held on for a 5-point win in Atlanta to cap a 6-1 Eastern road trip. 36 points for Kawhi Leonard, 30 points and 10 assists for James Harden. The Clippers shot 60% from three-point range. They are 19 games over 500 and just a half game behind Minnesota and Oklahoma City for the best record in the Western Conference. Since December 1st, the Clippers are 26-5. They're at home Wednesday night against New Orleans. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Got me a damn girl on my team.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe we have the best tag team in morning radio. Dominique DiPrima and Tavis Smiley. As the first black woman in Los Angeles to anchor a morning drive talk radio show, Dominique covers local politics like a blanket. Weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., Dominique passes the baton to Tavis Smiley, who talks to everybody about everything every day until 12 noon. KBLA's dynamic duo, Dominique and Tavis. It's no wonder the LA Civil Rights Department is honoring Dominique DiPrima this year at its Tell Our Story honoring black journalist leaders and storytellers event, Thursday, February 8th. Or that the John M. Langston Bar Association of Los Angeles is honoring Tavis Smiley at its 47th Annual Installation and Scholarship Awards Gala with its Community Impact Award on February 10th. We couldn't be more proud of Dominique and Tavis, who make black history every day, not just in February. If you're missing Dominique and Tavis weekday mornings on KBLA Talk 1580, you're missing out. We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we've got your black.
Holla, yeah.
It's time to represent your community in the 2024 presidential primary election. When you vote, you get to decide what is best for you, your neighborhood, and your family. Use your power. Make a plan to vote today. Visit plan.lavote.gov. That's plan.lavote.gov to get everything you need to vote in the March 5th presidential primary election. Brought to you by the Los Angeles County Registrar.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's my pleasure to have you here. There's nothing that really shines to me as far as black creative Los Angeles like the Pan-African Film Festival. And I shouldn't just say Los Angeles because it's worldwide, but it's here in Los Angeles. So that makes it, just a great moment for folks. You get to hear from people that you might not otherwise have access to. You get to see films before they get their distribution deals or before they're widely released. And you can learn so much about the world as well as just have fun and buy earrings. I like to buy earrings at the Pan-African Film Festival. I'm talking now with filmmaker Mario Van Peebles and the festival director Ayuko Babu. And happy belated birthday to you, Mr. Van Peebles. And you're busy, huh? You're busy.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. I'm getting to do what I love doing, which is, I would say, the three loves in life: love what you do, love and enjoy the folks you do it with, and love what you get to say with your work. And if those three chakras line up, you're rich no matter what the paycheck is. In doing Outlaw Posse, one of the reasons you asked me before the break was, why do Outlaw Posse? The Western I have coming out, we're closing night at the film festival. But by the way, that's February 18th. We're closing night at the film festival, and then Outlaw Posse opens everywhere in theaters on March 1st. But one of the things was that I felt like right now, America is so divided. You got some folks watching CNN and MSNBC, and some other folks, bless them, are watching Fox News or whatever that stuff is. And so we no longer have the same facts. But we will all watch a Western if we're all invited and if you make the gumbo with love. And when I was looking at the real history of the West, long before women could vote, you had Stagecoach Mary, who was a badass sister with a shotgun and a cigar, running her own stagecoach line up through Montana. So I said, okay, who could play her? And Whoopi Goldberg stepped forward and said, I'm playing Stagecoach Mary. Don't even ask. And so I said, well, now we got to do, I had Posse years ago, but now Outlaw Posse, we got some bad sisters in the saddle, and we got John Carroll Lynch, so we have a racially mixed group, and we use our diversity as a strength. And I thought, wouldn't it be dope if America could come together, and watch something that makes us think, where you could watch a movie that would make you laugh and thrill you, and you enjoy the ride, but really let's bring things up in the context of a movie that we're afraid to bring up in front of each other anymore. You know what I mean? And so can we start a dialogue on screen that might help us off screen in our lives? We go, you mean when America was young and we were building this country, we had the opportunity to see these folks together. You had Edward James Olmos. You had some Latino brothers and sisters. You had obviously our Native American brothers and sisters, and see us all. And at the end of the Outlaw Posse, you think, oh, it's just a crazy movie. But at the end, when Babu saw it, he commented on the end, you see the real people that they're playing, and they look like the real people they're playing.
Wow.
And, we were really there historically. A lot of folks don't know. They called black men boys no matter how old they were. And so they would give them the roughest job. Take care of them horses, boy. Take care of the cow, boy. And that's how the name cowboy came to exist. The white guys like being called Rough Riders. So there's a lot of history we don't know and we get to see. DC Young flies in it. Cedric the Entertainer is in it. I mean, we got everyone. Alan Payne from New Jack City. This brother comes into the movie. So we mixed it up with everybody, man. And so it was just time to kick some ass and have some fun in the West collectively. And like I said, make it with love.
Mario is kind of referring to your reaction, Babu, when you saw it. What happened? What did you say?
Well, I said, it took me back to Cheyenne. I'm from Cheyenne, Wyoming, where all the bad cowboys were. And we used to see them. We were really little kids, and a lot of the black cowboys in his movie, they lived up in the hills in Wyoming. Would come down to Cheyenne to the black community once a year, and we got a chance to see all those people he's talking about in person. All these people, their children were still up in those hills in Wyoming, and it was just unbelievable to see them come down once a year out of the hills, walk around and smoke a cigar. And
it transported you back.
It looked like they had pistols on when I saw them as a kid.
Yeah.
And
it's real that we got in the movie.
His film is real. His film is real. The people I saw in Cheyenne when I grew up is those people. Same thing with Indians. I was lucky to see Red Cloud's son in Cheyenne at the rodeo and parade. And he rode down the street in the parade, and we were a bunch of black kids standing there. And he turned and came to us and kneeled and looked at us with a look. Said, "Now look, this is what they did to me. Don't let it happen to you." I saw that in Cheyenne in 1953.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have that history, but the other thing was I wanted to make sure is that this is a fun movie, and in the tradition of Posse, this is an action shoot 'em up, and I find like this sometimes if you can make edutainment, you can have a lot of fun with it and yet tell the truth. And look, it's something when we did Posse, man. We started out. Woody Strode played the role of the tribe elder in Posse, and Woody had the line where he said, history's a funny thing. They got us believing Columbus discovered America, but the Native Americans were already here. So that's like me discovering your car and putting my flag on your car. And they call you evil man savage if you don't get out your car quick enough. Well, that ain't nothing but gangster, but we know all about that. You know what I mean? And so when you see history done by us, it's our story, not just his story. And when you include all of us in it, you get some wild stuff, man. Edward James Olmos plays a great role. I mean, just the layers you get to see is a lot of fun. And the thing is, I always say this, my family is in the business of making movies, right, that entertain. But Babu's family is in the business of giving those movies a platform. And you are in the business of giving us both a voice. And it's a triumvirate. We all need each other to make this work. No one of us is an island. And so if I can make a picture that says something and Babu can display it and you can get us on and talk about it, then the people can find it. And then we can all collectively, we light our candles, bring the dawn. There you go.
Okay, there's a lot there, but it's a great point. How is that working with your kid? Did that transport you?
Oh yeah.
To working with your dad, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's fun. He knows to come early, leave late, work a little harder, represent a little bit more. I'm probably a little bit more user friendly than my father was, but my son Mandela, he also loved being, because he grew up. Check it out, for him, his perspective, he grew up seeing his dad and his father as cowboys in Posse, and the dream was his to ride horses and do
right, dad and granddad together, right, yeah.
Totally. So he grew up. He said, I get to be on the stagecoach, Mary, and be up there on the stagecoach with Whoopi and give my dad a hard time and get paid for it.
yeah, that's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah, it's pretty fun, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and it seems a little bit like you found a sweet spot here. I'm reading about this, the Prize for Freedom. I'm assuming you're working on that right now. And then the series, The Beat Goes On, like kind of timed with this election year. It seems like maybe you found a sweet spot of doing fun and, well, what you called it, edutainment.
Yeah. Well, because part of it is, and it's something that comes up even in Outlaw Posse is that, democracy is like a car. If you take your foot off the gas, this thing will slow down. And sometimes we get a little complacent. We got to remember, man, hey, dude, we got a big election coming up, right? And, yeah, both candidates may be a little old, but one is old and crazy and a fast, and one is old and civil and hires more qualified, diverse people of color than ever before. I don't think the choice is a hard one to make. I don't want crazy. And the economy's doing better. And hey, man, I would rather have a cat who knows what he's doing. Got the first female black president. Hey, let's go with that. I'm happy with that. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. That's what I say.
Yeah. Well, Babu, I mean, I think what you've done with the film festival is exactly, what Mario Van Peebles is saying is you've provided an outlet. I mean, it's still super important. But when you started this, there was almost nowhere to go to get this material. We didn't have YouTube. We didn't have, 50 million streaming channels. And I can't even imagine the number of projects that have come through the pipeline that would never have gotten a shot if it wasn't for the Pan-African Film Festival.
Yeah, absolutely. That was from the very beginning. We wanted to provide that kind of voice for young filmmakers across the board, and it has played off. I mean, it really we were very proud of a lot of films. Sisters did Warrior King came through our festival. Jada Bethwood, I should always pronounce her name correctly. Gina Baithwood.
Bythewood, yeah.
Came through our festival, folks like that. So Ava DuVernay was by the way, Ava was our publicist originally, and she had her first film about the good life, a poetry spot on Crenshaw in our festival. So we've been very lucky to have folks like that come through. And then Heidi Garima, Sankofa, Pyramid that up. We ran Sankofa for 3 straight months at the Magic Johnson Theaters at that time.
Wow.
And made it a big hit. So it's been a wonderful experience and exposure for me, and I hope everybody who came through and picked up that and went on. A lot of filmmakers have seen these kind of films, been stimulated and excited to go ahead and make films.
How many films do you have this year, Babu, approximately?
Over 200.
Woo! We got our plate cut out for us. February 6th through the 19th. 210 films? Wow.
And what we try to do is that, as you know, what guides us is this. As a result of the slave trade and colonization, we've been spread all over the planet. And as a result, it's been 200 years. So we sometimes forget that a little bit of our story is spread everywhere. And unless you put everybody's story together, you don't really get a clear understanding of who we are. You get caught up with what particular area you're from. So therefore, you get, as a result, you get a little bit from Haiti, a little bit from New York, a little bit from Mississippi, a little bit from Nigeria, a little bit from Papua New Guinea, a little bit from Colombia down there where Mario's now down in Colombia. So you put all those different black folks' story together, and you say, you begin to have a real big understanding of that.
Well, for someone like you, Mario Van Peebles, who's, obviously well established in the business, you don't have to be pushing films or, any of the stuff that startup folks he's talking about have to. What is that experience like for you? I mean, I noticed that a lot of, powerful black movers and shakers in the industry keep coming back to the Pan-African Film Festival. So what's that experience for you?
Okay, I'll tell you. First of all, I don't want to get it twisted for anybody. I made Outlaw Posse independently because often if you take the studio's money, you have to take the studio's line. And in my films, a lot of films, I stay true to a line that is not about what the banks want to hear, right? You can't make Supersize Me and take McDonald's money. You feel me? So I made Outlaw Posse. I didn't take studio money to make Outlaw Posse. I did it independently. You know what I mean? So that's why it's so important to get that word of mouth out, truly independent. But I've grown up doing that. But here's the thing, is that a lot of times what happens is when you've had deep colonization, I'm hearing, as Bamboo mentioned, I'm in Colombia, right? And there's a part called Palenque where a lot of enslaved folks ran away and took their freedom, basically, and the Spaniards couldn't get them back. And so they finally said, well, hell with it. We'll let y'all keep your freedom on the condition you keep a white church there. So they still had, as long as we keep a white-looking deity in the town, well, you can have your freedom. So there's this sense that, as Frantz Fanon said, one good preacher can do the work of 100 soldiers. And the first way to free your mind is to control your imagery. The modern-day colonizer doesn't put chains on the body, they're on your mind. And what Babu does is shows us imagery of freedom from different parts of the diaspora, all over. And when you line that up, it makes a hell of a quilt. You feel me?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And so what's so important is sometimes we get confused and we Malcolm said freedom by any means necessary. But later on, some poor rappers get it twisted, and they say, no, just get paid by any means necessary. But what happens is when you confuse freedom with money, you start to honor money. So there are other film festivals and award ceremonies that are supposed to be about our image, but about money. When you say, well, if it made money, it must be top notch. No, crack make money. It's not good for you. Fossil fuels make money, but they'll kill you. What Babu shows you is actually films that have nutritional value for us as a people. Not just someone said, oh, he put on a dress, or he made money doing that, or he made... No. These are films that actually elevate brothers and sisters and make us think consciously. And that's a whole different level. And so that's why we go back to the Pan-African, is because even in this, 30th year now, Babu, right, something like that, he stayed true to the integrity of the mission statement, which was put some stuff out there that makes us think, that entertains us, and yes, makes us proud and shows us three-dimensionally.
If you can't see Outlaw Posse for the closing night, you can see it Sunday, February 18th at 7 p.m. or Sunday, February 18th at 7:40 p.m. You got options. Go to PAFF.org. Pan-African Film and Arts Festival is coming up actually tomorrow. Ayuko Babu, co-founder, and actor, director, producer Mario Van Peebles are my guests. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Listen up, City of Los Angeles renters that live in rent-controlled units. Landlords can now increase your rent by 4%. Know these 3 facts. The rent increase is allowed February 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2024. An extra 1% per utility up to 6% can be added if the landlord pays the entire gas and electric bill. And illegal rent increase complaints can be filed at housing.lacity.org. Check if you live in a rent-controlled unit and learn more at housing.lacity.org. Be informed, be protected, be at home.
LADWP is proud to partner with KBLA to share with you how to start the new year without bill worries. We're here to help if you're behind on your bill or need help staying current. Sign up anytime online for Level Pay to set predictable monthly payments throughout the year, including for past due amounts. You can also check out the special extended pay arrangements of up to 48 months to help pay down your bill. If you're a senior or income qualified, you may be eligible for Easy Save to receive discounts and also qualify for free and discounted energy and water saving devices. You can get up to $15,000 for past due water and or sewer bills and up to $3,000 for electric bills. But you gotta act fast. Funding is limited. You can reduce your past due bills and kick off the year right, because here at LADWP, we're here to help. Visit ladwp.com/cares today and find out more.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so as a Black woman in recovery, Hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back indeed. I'm Dominique DiPrima, and I'm talking with Pan-African Film Festival director and co-founder Ayuko Babu and filmmaker, producer, activist, actor Mario Van Peebles. I started out calling you Melvin, which is your dad's name. Babu's got a film in this festival about my dad, Amiri Baraka, which he was kind enough to let me see, and which you can also see called Sing Fight. I think that's the right name for it. And Babu, your own child is now, well, he's not a child. Your grown child is now a big part of putting that festival together. So we got some intergenerational vibrations going on around here this morning, Babu.
Yes, trying to pass it down to the next generation. And like Mario was with Melvin, my son said that, hey, like I've been passing out flyers since I was 7, so I've been on the job since 7. So he is one of our emerging directors of the festival, and is one of the people that's on the committee picking the films and doing behind work. He's been talking with Mario and trying to make sure the festival does what it's supposed to do. So he has caught the energy, the bug, and wants to be part of the storytelling process, and he's doing it. We're excited about it, and he's been in touch with Mario, and in fact, he talks to Mario more now because they talk to hip hop. I'm still trying to get past Miles.
Well, I love that. Mario, I'm always saying I have this theory that a lot of us who end up being activists in whatever our field is, right, or edutainers, even politicians, in the African-American community, a lot of us are multi-generational. People just don't know about it. You think about, Martin Luther King. He comes from an activist family. Malcolm X, same thing. We don't just come from out of nowhere. And I think, maybe you can speak on that a little bit, because so many folks, love you, love your dad, and I'm assuming we're going to be loving Mandela too.
Yeah. Well, Mandela, my son Michaelo is producing. My daughter Morgana is a filmmaker and an actor as well. She's on the Wilderness series. Mandela's on. He plays the Black Panther who was turned into a vampire because he decides that the arc of history might bend towards justice, but it takes too dang long. So being a vampire, he gets to see it all. He plays that on Reginald the Vampire, and he's also the love coach on Reginald the Vampire. So it's sort of a funny one. So he's been acting for a while. Yeah. So I think part of it is, what for us, when you grow up on a farm, you learn a little bit about riding horses and plowing and planting seeds and all that. Well, when you grow up in a filmmaking family like ours, you learn about editing, directing, and acting, and so you get a front row seat on how it's put together. And once you can understand how film can affect people, or how being in news can affect people, or how being a griot, and what stories we tell about us in a world that has not been conditioned to tell our stories, then you can sort of say, okay, how can we? And here's the thing. And I know all three of us have to deal with it. Babu, yourself, myself, and all of our fathers had to deal with it. And that is this. The biggest thing they did to us as a people was make it illegal to educate us. because you got to learn to read so then you can read to learn, right? You got to learn to read so that you can get access to the history. So once you understand that a large part of our audience is not educated, you go, oh, wow, y'all don't know, bro. Y'all didn't know about Palenque? Y'all didn't know about Ethiopia? And so you wind up telling the stories and people go, I want to know those. I want to know what's happening. And so it's almost, it's just sort of, you fall into it because you have access to knowledge because you saw mom do it or pop do it, and now it's impossible to keep that repressed in yourself. You know what I mean? So you wind up being a griot on some level, even if it's on just a one-to-one level. You wind up saying, here's the truth, and you should look at this perspective. So I think it's kind of natural in some ways. It doesn't mean we're all going to be, just because my dad did this, that I'm going to be able to do that as well. That's a whole different game.
Right. Oh, hopefully we adapt it or, whatever. We bring our own ashe to the table. It's always fun to talk with you, Mario Van Peebles. You always got so much going on. I'm looking forward to seeing Outlaw Posse closing night at Pan-African Film Festival. Ayuko Babu, thank you for decades of just bringing us an amazing way to understand history and the world through film and art.
Thank you very much. Come out and enjoy yourself. We're going to be there for about 10, 15 days. Again, go on our website, paff.org, and you will be able to see a description of the films, the time of the films, the whole thing, as well as we got artists. We got about 100 major painters, artists, clothes designers, and jewelers that brought all over the world in the mall next door. It's only 10 minutes from the 10 freeway. Just go down Crenshaw and King and Crenshaw, and you'll be able to go around the world for us for about a few days.
Actually opens today, February 6th through the 19th, the Pan-African Film Festival. Ayuko Babu and Mario Van Peebles, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you, sister, for having us on.
Thank you.
And I got
so
to spend some good time with your pop, too. I don't know if you know that. I spent a lot of time with your dad doing a documentary with him.
Yes, I saw that, and I thank you for that, by the way. Yes, great work.
Sure.
Thank you for including him. Okay, look, it's a Talking Point Tuesday, and one of my Republican colleagues is joining us next hour. So, sparks may fly. I don't know. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black